All right, so body and breath awareness combined. The first thing I want to remind you of is that whether you're aware of your body feelings or whether you're aware of your breath, the whole purpose of that initially is just to quieten the mind, but it's to free you of the oppressive grip that the mind sometimes has on you so that you can become aware of something else. There's something deeper that you're trying to feel, and that is yourself, your true self. And the thing is that you're not your thoughts. But so often we're so wrapped up in our thoughts that we become identified. So we might worry a lot about money, and we, because we're doing that all the time, we conclude that that's who we are. We're just this person on this planet trying to make money and survive and pay the bills. That's who I am. And then when that's going badly, I have super high stress. And when it's going well, I've got temporary pleasure, but it doesn't really satisfy me and something's missing. And so what meditation does is it gives you a break from your thoughts, from your mind. But more deeply, it helps you to realize I'm not that. I'm not just a busy hamster running on a wheel trying to get money or whatever it is that I need. I'm something deeper. I mention this not just in theory, that's one of the long-term benefits of meditation, but it's also something that happens in the time. So as you're aware of your body, I encourage you to also try to be aware of that deeper life that is in you. That's who you really are without doing anything. And in that place, when you touch that, you feel this warmth, you feel this peace, you feel this kind of joy, this energetic life. It's that part of you that is your awareness. Your awareness is who you are. Your awareness is the life that you are. You're not your thoughts. You're actually your awareness. And so it's kind of funny to say this, but I hope you get it. When you become aware that you are aware, then you're becoming tuned into who you really are. So when you notice, I'm aware, that's who you really are. And at that moment, it's like you touch something. You touch this peace, this joy. And so I said before, a technique like body awareness is like the handrails on a staircase. You hold them to stop your mind, because when your mind kicks in, then you fall off the staircase. You hold them and you climb the staircase, but the place you're going to itself is that deeper sense, that knowledge of you. So I don't want to make this sound too weird, but look for that. It's a feeling, it's a peace, it's a stillness, it's a kind of a joy. It's not thoughts, it's not pictures, something deep inside of you. And so body awareness is really powerful because it grounds you very quickly. Breath awareness takes you, it's a bit harder for some, easier for others, takes you deeper. Today, I want to do both in the sense that you can breathe into or out of different parts of your body. And an easy example is like, let's say you're doing body awareness and you notice, hey, I'm tense in my stomach, or I've got a pain in my throat. It's weird. Sometimes when I get into meditation, my throat feels thick. It feels like there's something blocking me. It's a weird thing. And then what you can do is that you can almost imagine you breathing into or out of that area where there's tension. So when we start now and we do a guided session, I'm going to just ask you to feel like your hands, just get tuned into your body, and then see if there's any part of you that's tense or in pain or uncomfortable. And then you kind of breathe in and out of that part. And then I said we might not cover this, but I decided we should. I want to talk to you quickly about the energy centers. And So you don't have to identify this with Hinduism. There's people talk about the chakras, but there's quite a bit of more modern thinking that speaks of parts of our body where there's a concentration of nerves, okay? And the seven energy centers, and there's many of these areas in our bodies, but the seven that I sometimes try to feel in body awareness and then breathe in and out of, and it's amazing. They kind of, it just special stuff happens at each one, are the following seven that I'm going to share with you. And as I try to share this, just try to feel them in your body right now, because that's what we're going to do in the meditation time. We're going to try and go back there and breathe in and out of them, if that makes sense. The first is your root chakra. So all seven of these are kind of along your spine and into your head. So the first of these is the root energy center, and that's at your tailbone. So kind of right down there by your tailbone, just see if you can feel something on the inside of there. That's like a key energy center of your body. And it's actually the part of you that feels, it gets grounded, and it's like stability comes from there. The next one is just below your belly button. It's called the sacral energy center. And so you're kind of moving up your spine. The next one is at your solar plexus. So again, just see if you can feel now that part of your body, because we'll go there in the meditation. And then the next one is in your heart. So kind of inside your chest cage. Can you feel anything in there? And at first, it's like, wow, I hardly ever try to feel anything in there, but it's quite awesome when you start doing it. The next one is in your throat. And it's funny, unless I proactively do this exercise now and again, I find that one almost gets blocked up. And the whole idea with these energy centers is that you feel them and you breathe in and out of them so that there's this like free flow of body energy. And if I don't do that, it feels like that one, I don't know if it's because I talk too much in my life, but that one gets blocked up. The next one here is between the eyes. So like if you just close your eyes now and try to feel that space between your eyes on your forehead, that's kind of where that is. And then the top one is here on the crown. That's like the top of your head where I have no hair. And so what am I saying? I'm saying this week, practice a combination of breath and body awareness. Just like exercise that muscle this week. And you can take any parts of your body. You could take your hands, you could take your feet. You could take especially part of your body that are tense or in pain. And feel like you're breathing in and out of that part of your body, and that as you breathe in and out, it's like the energy is going in and out. So the energy is circling through it. It's like watering it. Let's call it that. And then if you like, do these 7 energy centers if you can feel them and see what happens. Interesting stuff has happened for me. And again, you kind of, when I say interesting stuff, it's like something that's so uncommon that we hardly ever do, but now we're giving attention to our bodies in an unusual way, and it seems to unlock something special, something that's full of life. So hopefully that all makes sense. And I will now begin the clock, and I will guide you. Here we go. So as the bell goes, just take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and slow, deep breath out through your mouth, just to relax. And just breathe away any worries, from the day, conflicts, stuff that might be bugging you, just breathe it all out and eliminate it. And so now just bring your breath to its normal pace and just start paying attention to your breath as it comes through your nostrils. Just feel the gentle air come in and hold, and then breathe out. And just settle down until that's just a gentle, peaceful pattern. And some of you said you can't feel the breath there, then you could just pay attention to your solar plexus. And see if you can do 10, maybe 20 breaths like that, where you stay very alert and you don't allow your mind to wander off. And now become more detailed in what you're observing. Just notice even finer aspects of the feeling of your breath. And if you start feeling a sweetness of peace or of your presence, God's presence, then be aware of that and feel like it's there, but you're not letting go of the awareness of your breath. And as you do this, be gentle with yourself if thoughts arise. And it's almost like you accept that there's a thought. You don't try to, in a panic way, erase the thought, because thoughts do come. It's just that you're not letting yourself get carried away by the thought. So you're just kind of keeping half an eye on the thought. It's a little bit like a squirrel walks onto your lawn. You don't have to pull out a gun and shoot the squirrel. You're just keeping an eye on the squirrel, but you keep focusing on your breath. Now, still staying aware of your breath, either at your nose or at your solar plexus, just become aware of your hands. Just start feeling your hands. See if you can do both of those. And now you're aware of your breath and you're feeling your hands. See if you can add the feeling of your feet to that. And now, still aware of your breath at the nose or at the solar plexus. See if you can feel your root energy center at your tailbone. And begin, as soon as you feel any feeling down there, see if you can breathe into there and out of there. It might be the slightest of feelings, or it might be a strong feeling. And just do that for another 10 breaths. Now move up to the next energy center, which is just below your belly button. And just breathe into and out of that. Just try to feel anything in that space, if you can. And then just imagine you breathing into and out of there. Let's just do 10 more breaths. If you're not feeling much, it's okay. Just be at peace and just observe and just track your breath. And try to focus in on that area. These are very subtle feelings that strengthen with practice. But they're very powerful as you try and as you make the connection. So now we're going to move up to our solar plexus. I can often feel my solar plexus because it's tense. So it's a very good part to try and breathe in and out of to relax. Maybe you can feel your diaphragm from breathing there anyway. So just breathe in and out of there 10 times. Let's just do another 10 breaths at the solar plexus. That's great. Now we move to our heart. And this is about feeling something anywhere in your chest. I say anywhere because there's so much there and it's all interconnected. And just start breathing into and out of your chest, out of your heart. Just feel the energy flow in and flow out, circulating with every breath. Just do another 10 breaths there. And the basis of this whole meditation technique is the idea that energy flows to whatever you pay attention to. And there's all sorts of valuable, powerful parts of your body here that need energy. I feel like, and it's known, there's certain glands here that release immune-related hormones. So I feel when I breathe in and out of the chest that it triggers a boost to my immunity. Okay, let's move up to our throats, and we'll breathe in and out of our throats, kind of at the area in the middle, whatever you can feel in your throat. And don't be tense as you do this. It doesn't matter if you feel something strongly or you don't feel anything at all. You're just aware of whatever is. And as you're aware, that awareness grows in power. So just do another 6 breaths in and out of the throat. Now let's move to the energy center between our eyes. It's often called the discernment energy center. And just imagine you breathing into or out of a hole between your eyes or your forehead. See if you can feel anything there. And then breathe in and out of there for 10. Let's just do another 10 up there peacefully. Again, just be totally relaxed. Doesn't matter how much you're feeling or not. And now we'll move to the final one, which is kind of in a weird place. It's actually your pineal gland that you're aiming at, but the way to do that is see if you can feel anything on top of your head, like the skin or your hair, roots on top of your head. And then breathe into and out of that for 10. Our time is almost up, so just become aware again of the breath in your nose. Just stay focused there. And just see if you can be aware that you're aware. this energy center stuff is very powerful and profound, and it's like you can go into that for a lifetime. I thought I'd quickly address faith and religion again. I'll probably keep touching on this because, I could never have done this type of meditation even 4 years ago. And that's because I grew up with an evangelical background that said, look, everything else other than exactly what we believe is probably from the devil. And interestingly, I don't believe that anymore. And I think that kind of belief isn't actually, I still consider myself strongly a Christian, but I don't think that belief is necessarily biblical, as it were. Interestingly, I think, a quick history on Christianity, you had the Catholic Church kind of being the custodian of Christianity for 1600 years, and then Luther came along and addressed some errors and you had the whole Protestant Reformation. And in many ways, Protestant Christianity kind of leapfrogged for a while and kind of made a lot of progress. But something happened in the 1970s that I don't know if you guys are aware of. I think it was the 70s, called Vatican II, when basically the Catholic Church went and totally reformed their theology. And there were two things that they did that, in my view, leapfrogged Protestantism. And I'm not saying this to kind of compare and compete. I'm just saying if you want to make progress. And the two things that Vatican II did, well, it did hundreds of things, but two very significant things that it did is, number one, it reconciled faith and science. Up to that time, Christians had kind of fought Darwin and seen the theory of evolution as an evil thing that contradicted Genesis chapter 1 and 2. And so there was this big chasm between science and faith. And Vatican II thoroughly broke that down and basically said to the church called out to scientists and said, you our fellow travelers on the path for truth. And then the second thing is, and the one I love the most, is that Vatican II said that the grace of God exists in all religions. And as opposed to, hey, some religions are going to hell and others are going to heaven, that you can actually find God at work in every religion. And one of the great fathers of this whole meditation movement in Christianity is Thomas Merton, who was a Catholic priest. And he said he's super interested in other religions, not for their theology. He's not trying to get a different view on the Trinity, but because of their experience. And that's really what Vatican II was saying, is that God loves all people, and he's working with folks in every religion. And so really, I think, to be honest, I'd like to suggest you can be comfortable with something like the chakras, because the old me would have said, oh, that's straight from the devil. But it's not. It was probably some very wise, intuitive folks that 2,000 years before science got there, by intuition, by God leading them, discovered these energy centers. So anyway, you don't have to agree with me. I'm just telling you the framework, in my belief, for why the stuff is all good, I think it's very different if we say, hey, let's sacrifice children and drink their blood. Everyone will figure out very quickly that that's not what we're trying to do. So anyway, hopefully that's useful, and happy to discuss it with anyone at any time. I, like I've told many of you, I used to be a lay pastor and I used to run a Bible school. So for me, I've had to go very carefully into figuring out how I navigate. And it's with a lot of thought, that I've kind of gotten to the place I've gotten. So if anyone here is like, hey, Rob, the stuff you're doing, it's contradicts Christianity or whatever.
Witchcraft. It's witchcraft.
Then please feel free to reach out and I'll talk you through it. But I'm pretty comfortable that, I do this from the seat of being a strong Christian. But and having said that, that's not what I'm trying to convert you to. I'm just trying to get everyone to experience the power of what's inside of them.